Hey, there we go. It's on YouTube.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, it's a little bit on the slow side here, so I'm going to let it roll. All right,
All right.
can you see me?
Yes, I can see you perfectly.
Okay. All right, so it's on YouTube right now, so I'm gonna let it flow. How are you, OC?
I'm
How's
good. I'm
everything?
good. Thank you.
Welcome to the Holistic Yogi Podcast. I am your host, Kamala Ingrid, your holistic journey. We'll guide you through your holistic journey. This episode today, we have a special friend. My cat's going nuts. And he's also the creator of this concept called with Parkinson's boxing. He also is also a 10-year vet um, and is now a doctor of occupational therapy. Thank you for joining me, OC. How are you?
Doing great. Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a while. I've been wanting to have you on board for a while. So you've been busy and doing
Yes.
your things. That's awesome. Congratulations on, and you actually graduated around your birthday too. So
Yeah,
congratulations. Happy
that was a
birthday.
that was a great time actually.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, OC, tell us a little bit more about like how you are, what got you here today, like your journey from where you were and what led you to where you are today here, like what and what made you go into that route.
For sure. So, just coming along, through life, and experiencing, certain things, came to understand myself as somebody who, had the innate, ability to care for other people, to be able to put people before myself, as far as their needs. And just combining that with one of my greatest passions, which is fitness,
Right.
trying to use what I feel is my greatest passion, and thinking about how I can use that passion to help other people who are in need. So
Yes.
just having family members and seeing family members struggle with certain conditions.
Correct.
How can I use my passion, which is fitness, to be able to help heal physically, and of
Right.
course mentally as well. So kind of using that passion to kind of drive me forward with a lot of my goals.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, Tell me a little bit more about let's go back, I guess, what was the beginning stages of this whole thing? Was it your I guess your vet being a veteran first before you moved into the boxing, the training? Is that tell us a
Well,
little bit about that.
actually, other way around a little bit. So, I ended up joining the army, much later and getting involved in that. Again, reasons being that I wanted to, do something, that would help, people who are less fortunate than myself. So,
Right.
as far as the fitness world is concerned, I kind of got into it just because I loved sports. I loved athletics. Being an athlete myself, kind of growing up, I knew that that was something that I wanted to do in the back of my mind,
Right.
but it wasn't really sure how to get about doing it. And this was back when I was a teenager, just kind of graduating from high school.
Right. Right.
So yeah, so after leaving Publix, in which I was kind of like let go of Publix, so I kind of walked off. I can't remember which was which. All I knew is I didn't want to work there anymore. I didn't want to
Got it.
bag groceries and stock items. So when I left, I was in college, and my first degree at was graphic design, which I didn't really like either, but I kind of wanted to do it anyways because that was something that my brother was doing, and I kind of wanted to follow in his footsteps and become a graphic designer, which I did end up finish ultimately.
That's awesome.
But along those lines, I started working in a gym. So this was back in 2021, 2002, 2001 actually. Sorry. And I joined a gym called US1 Fitness. So when I joined that gym, I was actually asking for a job. I said, hey, I want to work here. I want to be a trainer. Manager said, well, you can't really become a trainer without being certified. So he gave me a front desk job. Um, the front desk job was something that, I was like, okay, well, I have access, I have free gym membership, so now I can work out anytime, you know. So an interesting story that I have was that I did come across the 9/11 hijackers while I was there, and this was early back in 2001.
Wow.
So yeah, so what happened there was, as I was there, checking people in, they came in. I didn't know it at the time, but they did walk in. You spoke to them. They asked me to train them. I wasn't a trainer, so I told them I couldn't, so I kind of deferred them. So 9/11 happened. Manager called us back in. FBI was there. They interviewed us. Said, "Hey, do you know this guy? Does he, have any, do you have any information as far as what he may have told you or whatever the case is?" I knew nothing other than the fact that he wanted to train. He wanted to learn to get stronger. And this was the pilot of flight, I believe it was flight 92, I believe it was, the one that was supposed to crash into the Capitol building, but it ended up crashing into Pennsylvania instead because the passengers had fought back. So that freaked me out. So I ended up, quitting that job because I was, just not really in a good place right there. I didn't feel safe. I was just really freaked. So I ended up applying to LA Fitness. And that's where I met my current business partner, Sheldon. And
which LA Fitness were you in?
Huh?
Which LA Fitness were you in?
So I was a lot of them. So I started off really at the one on University in Pines.
I was there too.
Okay, yeah. I was
2001. Oh my God. So we go way back and we were actually in each other's faces without knowing.
Yeah, small world. That's where I got my start. And I met Sheldon back then. 2002 is when I started because 9/11 happened at the end of 2001. So I had quit by the end of 2001. And then I applied to LA Fitness in 2002, at the beginning of 2002. And, the rest was history. I actually got my first job as a personal trainer, met Sheldon. And, me and Sheldon, we've been working. It's 2022 now. So it's been exactly 20 years. Since I've been, working with them. So, just became a general manager from there and, just kind of gaining experience, making connections, meeting the right people. And then from there, at some point, again, I got tired of working for people because, I just don't like working for people. So, I left LA Fitness, and I ended up, opening up a small studio, by myself, with another guy. His name is Craig. So the Parkinson's boxing, that started because Craig Marks.
Oh, I know. I worked for him too for a little bit.
Oh, you did?
Off of Flamingo. Yes. So we come way back. We actually were in the same areas, but didn't actually run into each other because I know. I worked. He has a small little gym, and I was like, okay, way too tiny for me to teach in that little where the wood was, where you set up in the back. That's where I trained for a little bit. Yeah.
And I know Maureen actually worked with him as well too. So
well, because of me, because I know Maureen and I go way back since 2001.
Yeah.
She's been with me for that length of time. So
well, if you know Craig, I mean, so Craig, his father had passed away from Parkinson's disease, complications of. So what happened was, Craig was actually a manager at LA Fitness too. So, I got moved out when the LA Fitness out west at 184, which at the time was the largest LA Fitness in the United States, opened up. I was the assistant general manager there. And then we decided to leave, because we had like a good connection at the time. So his father had passed away from Parkinson's disease, and he already had, patients or clients who had Parkinson's disease that were coming in. So, at that time, I was, boxing. I was doing my boxing training and self-defense and, Brazilian jiu-jitsu and, things like that. So I had some experience. So, that was part of what I did. I was, training people for boxing. So I implemented that into the actual, fitness training, so that caught on, so what happened was somebody had called, it was the Miami Herald or Channel 10, and Channel 10 picked up on the story. Nobody, from what I understand, nobody was doing that like anywhere else throughout the country at the time. It just wasn't a thing. So when they came in, they filmed us. And then I guess once one story circulates, another news station will pick it up. So the Herald came in and interviewed us. Next thing you know, we were on CBS News. Next thing you know, we were getting calls from like national media. So we got the ABC News spot. And then a week later, we were getting letters. We were actually featured on the Michael J. Fox Foundation right after that. So we were posted on the website. He wrote his letter, so he was aware of it. We were notified. We were actually invited to the Oprah Winfrey Show to do that. But I guess they chose to do like another like story or whatever the case is, or whatever happened, we weren't able to go. And then we got the MTV call, True Life, so they were, interested in doing a story there. So we were just kind of riding that wave, and we were just kind of rolling with it from there. So I kind of honed my skills. So at that point, that's when I knew that, I wanted to do more than just being a personal trainer. I wanted to be able to, help people on a clinical level. So I went back, got my bachelor's degrees. At the time, my only degree was the graphic design, and I had a certification for personal training. So I decided to go back, went back to school, graduated at the University of Purdue, health science, and ultimately I became an occupational therapist after that. And somewhere in between those lines, I ended up joining the Army. So yeah, it was a lot of stuff going on. For sure.
Nonstop, huh? Just nonstop. Because that's awesome. But it's like there's a lot of history going on there and a lot of education. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And where along the line do you find that you had to like push through? Like what challenges came up for you at some point in your life that you just felt like you were very, I guess tied, and what led you to continue moving forward?
Right. So, with all of the things that I've done, there's a saying in which, if you have too many hands and too many pots, you get like nothing done, versus, really honing in and focusing in. There were instances in which, I was like, I wanted to be able to help so many people, but I'm kind of spreading myself too thin.
Yeah.
So, that was a struggle, being able to do that. I'm an Aries, so I, kind of decide to jump into things gung ho. So, like randomly, I decided to open up a gym in Orlando, with very little money, no connections up there whatsoever, but somehow by the grace of God, it worked. We were able to come in. Because I, have a lot of experience marketing through my graphic design. So, we were able to, put something together in Orlando. So our gym that we opened up was in South Kissimmee. And we were able to pull in like thousands and thousands of people, in that gym alone, so that was like the beginning of our, Tighten Up Fitness, which is the name of our fitness facility. And then, of course, Ony-X Fitness and Wellness, soon to be Ony-X Therapy, is the name of the outpatient practice, so, that was when I knew that, whatever I was going to do within this health and wellness realm, it was going to be special. But, there were some struggles, so, another big, hurdle was, when I was out in Iraq, and I don't, tell a lot of people this, but, there were some times in which, I would not have been here, so, obviously, we have like the missiles and the bombs that drop and things like that, so, there were some missiles and bombs that dropped within, our AO, very close, lost my best friend, he's a Marine Corps. He died in Fallujah.
Wow, sorry to hear that.
Yeah. And then of course, I had a heat stroke when I was in Kuwait, so it was like 140 degrees. My veins collapsed and I woke up in the hospital, so, just kind of being affected by that, so, some PTSD from there, so that was always a struggle, just coming back.
How did you manage to overcome a lot of the PTS? Like, especially, I'm just saying, because there's a lot of people that are like ourselves that are, dealing with their entrepreneurship and want to lead on their own businesses. And sometimes they again, pacing themselves, learning how to pace. That's one thing. Because it's
Yeah.
also, like I said, for them, it's a mental thing. You have to learn. You're a push. You move forward. You like the athletic. That's a whole different mentality. But not
Yeah.
everybody's built that way. And
Yeah.
so, like, that's why I was saying, like, what were your challenges and how did you push forward through
Yeah.
those challenges? It would be nice for them to hear that because it can help them also keep pushing forward.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, it was, it was tough coming, I guess to grips. It was just different, it was like a different world, coming in. And, you know, one of the great things about like occupational therapy, my field is that, we, help people cope both physically and mentally. So, to be able to, experience and go through that, overcome it, and then use what I know to help people in my profession, is a big deal, So
Right.
for me, I kind of have like a bubbly like atmosphere or personality. I like keeping positive vibes and being super friendly to everybody. Giving people the benefit of the doubt. That's just me. I'm not going to change who I am. For anybody. That's just the type of person I am. So that actually that personality really helped me come about because I'm coming in. I'm kind of making jokes and smiling and trying to be as personable as possible, so all of the stuff that happened, while I was, in the Middle East, I got over quickly as opposed to, some of my buddies who didn't, I have a lot of friends who ended up like committing suicide and, things like that. That's just, the veteran nature, it's tough, but I feel like, but I feel like my personality, was able to, kind of get me through it. Yeah. And of course, having faith, I'm a Christian first, so I mean, praying and, using that, everything that, that my parents, kind of exposed me to, kind of finding it for myself that, got me through as well.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. And what else would you say? I see that you also do very good because I also did graphic design, but my suit was more the stronger, where putting things together, like the graphics of it. You got into the marketing part of it very well.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to pick your brain on that one.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. I mean, for me, I honestly hated sitting in front of a desk all day. That just wasn't me.
Same here.
But however, I like the creativity part of it, and that's the thing with that's why I feel like the new business that we're putting together, it's creative, kind of like the Parkinson's boxing, putting together that blend between fitness and therapy. That's just different. So graphic design is something that I would, I feel like I still have the talent for it, not like the raw talent, but something that I've learned. Just I'm into symbols, so just kind of looking at what do you want to achieve and what best symbolizes that in which you're trying to achieve. So I just updated my website, and you guys can check it out at onyxfwc.com. So just upgrading through that and just kind of using your creativity, and that's one of the reasons why I like being on my own, is to be able to create, and have that kind of leeway to do that.
And I agree totally, because as myself, even though I have also my graphic design, background, even though I couldn't work for somebody, and found myself also like, especially when I created stuff and they would turn it down, and I'm like, but it's not, you're not seeing the vision, you're not seeing it. It's like, and they have a certain way. I'm like, I'll do my own thing. And over time, now that I'm on my own, it's basically, I've been using it to brand myself, to do my own thing. And so it comes in handy in the end, because you don't really need somebody else to do it for you. You can do it all.
Right. Yeah. And it is time. It is time consuming, but I mean, if you want to try to, reach the audience that you want to reach, you have to be able to, delegate, and, try to have everything set up so that way everything's kind of running on its own, because that's the goal, is to be able to set up that YouTube page, set up your Instagrams, set up pretty much everything. So that way you won't have to upgrade it until, it's time to do that.
That's awesome. And now tell me a little bit more about where you are now with your gym, and now that you got your occupational therapy doctor degree coming in. I know you got some time that you have to do, freelance stuff, but you're pretty much there. What do you have in mind for your gym now? I still have,
I'm a resident student still. So we completed the classwork. portion of it. So now we just have to do the residency portion of it. So in other words, we're going to I'm going to be working in the hospital, so pretty much free labor, more or less.
Of course.
Yeah. So once that's done, then I have to take my license board with the NBCOT. The NBCOT is basically the end goal in which I have that license to work. And just for some of you guys who aren't familiar with occupational therapy, I know that people are more familiar with physical therapy. Occupational therapy basically works on people's function. So in other words, an injury or a disease will derail a person's ability to perform in their respective occupation. So whether it's an injury or whether it's cognition or whatever the case is. So an occupational therapist, work with pretty much, traditionally it's from the hip up. So in other words, upper extremity. So we can do everything that a physical therapist does, just pertaining to the upper extremity. So you'll see a lot of occupational therapists as hand therapists, as shoulder therapists, and so on and so forth, So our job is to assure that, the patient that we see that are referred to us by their provider, is able to get back to functioning, within, what they like to do on a daily basis, which is what we call activities of daily living.
Nice.
So, as far as what our gym, and what I want to do, as far as, combining fitness and therapy, I want to be able to work within the two realms, that probably have the most meaning for me, because I do have family members who have struggled with these two special populations, and that's cardiovascular and diabetes. So cardiovascular is the most prevalent
Yes.
Condition, in the United States, as far as mortality is concerned. And I feel like it's something to be addressed. So, me being a personal trainer of over 20 years, exercise physiologist, and, having a gym that, has pretty much all of the equipment, treadmills and Stairmasters and so on and so forth. I want to be able to make cardiovascular rehabilitation a primary focus of our therapy program that we have. So, and that will entail rehabilitation for patients who are coming back from the inpatient, who have received or suffered from a heart attack or third degree AV block or whatever the case is, like my father. So typically they are sent home. They're sent with the workout package. They may be sent to a rehabilitation clinic within the hospital realm. But what I want to do, I want to offer a rehabilitation facility with a program specifically for those patients who are coming back, from, those heart disease, conditions. So to be able to, work with them and to get their heart functioning to a steady level. So that way, and, fitting occupational therapy into it. So that way they're able to perform in their respective occupations and improve, their daily, living. So that's the goal with the cardiovascular. And then the second part of it is the diabetic wellness. So diabetes is another prevalent issue. So, with that program, that's going to be more of like the health promotion. We're going to do a lot of community health promotion, a lot of, awareness, and there are 3 levels. So we have the primary, the secondary, and the tertiary. The primary is basically going to be focusing on patients or people who have prediabetes, where their A1C are on that cusp. So at that point, it's all about education. It's all about fitness and, getting them to where they need to be. The second phase are people who have type 1 or type 2 diabetes, who need help managing, their condition. So whether it's weight loss or whether it's, having to lose weight in order to get the kidney transplant that they needed, like was the case with one of my family members. So that's where we can combine the fitness and the therapy, in which we're setting goals to be able to lose weight. So that way they can be afforded that kidney transplant. And then the third level was the tertiary, which is basically, they had diabetes and they have diabetic neuropathy, and they lost their foot as a result. So, if they lose a limb, that basically means that they're going to have to relearn how to function with their new limb. So we have a patient who lost their arm, occupational therapy comes in, and then we re-educate them as far as, how they can go back to cooking, with that prosthetic limb, or
Awesome.
how we can show them different exercises with that prosthetic limb. So that's the nature of the beast that I'm trying to create. And I think that it would be a great success, because we're very goal orientated, and we mean it. We want to be able to help people within that realm, and we're targeting the most prevalent populations, especially here in Florida, with a unique program that combines fitness and therapy, for both realms, while still catering to our regular clients who are, just trying to, look great and trying to bulk up, look like the Incredible Hulk's cousin, or trying to just lean out and, just kind of look good from there. So we're trying to hit multiple realms. And that's why we call it Ony-X. So Ony-X is basically a stone that encompasses different colors, just like an onyx stone. Our realm of therapy and fitness encompasses different realms without having to overwhelm ourselves, but we're hitting different, aspects of, health and wellness.
Beautiful. You like your crystals too, I see.
Yes.
Yes, I see that.
Yeah, so
I got my
I always
crystals
have my
everywhere.
my stones. So I mean, this is been my thing, and this is why we call it
Love it.
Ony-X. Yeah.
I
So
see that. I see that. I like that.
yeah. Mhm.
That's awesome. I love that actually, and it's important that people also understand, about occupational therapy, because there's a lot of people that don't know much about that, and they go right into therapy thinking but that's important, getting back to functional. Because as myself as a yoga teacher, my whole purpose is also the same thing, to help people get back into their daily routine through the flow of yoga, movement, breath, and all that stuff,
Right.
especially through stress, because my whole thing is mental health.
Yeah.
People, especially with entrepreneurs, there's a lot of stuff that we don't know, people that are starting or want to get going, and they find themselves, and not just entrepreneurs, but people that work hard, moms, they're always about giving. Especially when you're a giver, you forget about yourself.
Yeah.
And you can tax yourself on that aspect. So it's always good to release, whether you're walking, grounding through nature, or doing some kind of form of exercise, eating properly. All that has a lot to do with it. So that's actually important. And what you're doing with that, it's amazing how you intertwining all your.
And occupational therapy is very diverse in itself. Like, not a lot of people know, but occupational therapy is actually an older field than physical therapy. It got its start off of, and funny enough, everything just kind of comes full circle. It got its start off of veterans. So it started off, I believe, in 1917 or 1918. If my classmates are watching, they'll probably be like, nope, that's wrong. So one of the two. It started around the time of World War I. And the target were soldiers like myself who got back from the war and had shell shock. So it started off there, and it's been pretty consistent. So the original purpose of occupational therapy was to help these soldiers, these veterans coming back from World War I from Europe, cope and to get back to their occupation. If not get back to their occupation, to get back to the best level of function that they can get, and then work within their limits. So OT is very versatile. So with that, we can kind of do different things with it. But we do have a scope of practice that we have to follow, just like any medical field.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. OT, for those that are in Florida right now, especially in the South Florida area, where can we locate you and all that stuff? What would you tell them?
Sure. So we're right off of Hollywood. If you're familiar with Hollywood, which is a popular city, we have a prime location. We're right off of Hollywood Boulevard, which is the main artery of the city of Hollywood. We're right off of Hollywood Boulevard in 46. So just to kind of give you guys a landmark, there's a Walmart right off of 441 and Hollywood Boulevard. So just a few blocks east of that. We're right next to Joann Fabric. And then right next to Joann Fabric, we're on the second floor of the Hollywood Center. So we're about a 2,100 square foot, 2,200 square foot facility. And, we've been there since 2009. So we've been, at the studio for quite a long time. We have a pretty good following. We're getting a lot of phone calls for personal training, very popular.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I believe we're still #1 on Google and Yelp on pretty much all the search engines. So, and just recently we were voted one of the top personal training, small personal training studios in South Florida. So that
Nice.
really helped give us a little boost. But yeah, we're constantly getting calls, which we appreciate. And like I said, my goal is to try to help as many people as I can get in shape.
Yeah.
Throughout their journey, because everybody has a journey. So that's
Nice.
our main thing.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Lucy. Awesome. And is there anything for our listeners today in this podcast that you might want to give them a word of wisdom or something?
Yeah. So definitely, everybody has their issues, For me, I view life differently. Like, life is very short, so do what you want to do. Have a dream, and whatever it is that you want to do, just do it, even if, it doesn't work out in the end, as long as you attempted it, There's a famous quote by Miss Frizzle. Some of you guys, I don't know if you guys know who Miss Frizzle is she used to say, take chances and make mistakes, so you won't be able to know what you can do if you don't take that chance. So if you can take a chance, then you may be able to achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. So whether it's to help people, whether it's to help yourself, whether it's to become rich and famous, or whatever the case is, just take that chance. Life is short, because once we're gone, we're not going to get that opportunity to do it again. There are no do-overs in life. So just definitely take the chance, and live life, and be bold, and just do your thing, and look out for each other too.
Yes, absolutely. I think so. There's some that need more, someone to hold their hand and guide them through, and then others like yourselves, like, just take it and do it,
Absolutely.
So, we're the ones that have to hold others, but there are times that we need it ourselves, but we need that person to talk to. So it's always important. But thank you so much, OC, and we look forward to seeing some of the stuff. You have events going to be coming up, and I will put and link all your information on the podcast so people can reach out to you personally. Any events that you may have, I think you have it on. You're going to be posting that on your website, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay,
yes.
So that way everybody can reach out to OC, and occupational therapy is very important for those that want to recover, and get back to their daily lives. Here's a man to go to, and he's very well known and very well educated. So it's awesome.
Thank you.
I love that. No, like I said, it's a small world. I can't believe we've been in the same realm the whole time. And here we are now.
That's it.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for listening to the Holistic Yogi podcast. Please like and subscribe. And until next time, thank you, OC. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. So I just cancel that 1 second. Okay, OC.
Okay. You want me to stay on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me